Yo, what's going on, guys? And I meant to record this last night, but Jaylen Nowell, the former Mr. Minnesota Timberwolf, is now a New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans Pelicans have been hit with the injury bug. If you guys haven't been following, it's been definitely a rough year for them in terms of staying healthy. And this is a team that has playoff aspirations as they've started the season so far 3-3. Willie Green's a great coach. And they signed Jaylen Nowell, according to Shams Charania. The Pelicans have lost Dejounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, and Trey Murphy III to injuries. Nowell is averaging who's averaged 8.8 points and 1.8 assists for his career, has played for the Wizards and Grizzlies last year, and it played in the G League. Now, he's a guy who, in my opinion, at this point in his career, is he going to be someone that's going to really create a big difference for them? I mean, it depends on what's your expectations for Jaylen, as he's 6'4", about like 200 pounds, not the biggest guy. Came out, he's a former Washington Huskies. Like, I've always been a fan of his, especially when you look at what he's been able to do as a off the bench scorer. He was somebody that when he was on Minnesota, he was well respected. It's kind of the defense that's, like, you could arguably say has held him back. But for me, I want to hear your opinions before we continue this video. What do you guys think about Jaylen Nowell? Do you think he's going to be a key contributor? And let's get right into it. So let's break it down. What's going on here? So the New Orleans Pelicans just brought in guard Jaylen Nowell to the roster. According to Shams Charania of ESPN and my coworker Michael Scott of Hoops Hype, obviously with the wave of injuries hitting the team hard early in the season, this move is about adding some much-needed depth and giving the offense a bit more versatility, as he's a guy who can play both guard spots. As if you guys didn't know, the last game against the Pacers, which they won, they ran Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Yves Messi, Jordan Hawkins, and Jose Alvarado as the starting lineup. The guy who got the most minutes off the bench was Brandon Boston, then Javonte Green, Daniel Tice, Jamal Cain, and Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. So they really are running that's their bench: Daniel Tice, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, Jamal Cain, BJ Boston, Javonte Green. So bringing in Jaylen Nowell, he'll be able to help give some minutes, be an actual scorer off the bench. No offense to BJ Boston, I think he's done a great job so far for the Pelicans, but Nowell's a guy who's seen himself play for the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Washington Wizards, and the Memphis Grizzlies after coming out of Washington. And his career shows he's really got some ability to be a microwave off the bench and a little bit of playmaking, scoring, as he's a guy, as we mentioned earlier, just under 9 points, 2 assists a game, showing that he's a solid secondary scorer and secondary facilitator. So let's break down what he brings to the table. During the G League season of 2019-20, he was absolutely insane, cooking. If you guys didn't know, he was just a really, really good basketball player at that level, where he was a guy that he has shown that he can be a very efficient scorer for teams, just for his career. But specifically, I want to let you guys know what he did in the G League last year, which was he played in the G for 31 games. He averaged 17, 3 and 3. And before that, with Iowa Wolves, he averaged 21, 5 and 3. So just to give you guys an idea of what his stats were at the G League. But he has shown his willingness to take shots at all levels when given the ability, especially with few key players currently sidelined. So having a guy who has a ability to shoot above NBA percentages. Additionally, one of Nowell's standout skills is his ability to get to the rim. He scored over 50% of his points from inside the paint during the 22-23 season. And this is big for the Pelicans as they lean heavily on stars like Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram for scoring. And Nowell can mix things up and create opportunities for kickouts or even finish at the rim himself and maybe even draw a foul. Now, although he's best known for his scoring, Jaylen Nowell can facilitate when called upon. He can table set. He's logged around 4 assists per 36 minutes in the past, which is solid with a career assist to turnover ratio of 2.0. He's someone that the Pelicans can trust to handle the ball and make smart decisions, which is obviously something that they need given their current rotation struggles as they're running Jordan Hawkins and Jose Alvarado as their main guard rotations. While the injuries to Dejounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, and Trey Murphy will allow Nowell to give them a fresh player who's going to be able to contribute to scoring and some savvy playmaking. The Pelicans have been struggling to create shots beyond their top options, so Nowell could relieve some of the pressure by driving to the basket, making tough shots, especially in those high-pressure situations. in late game in the second half. While his three-point shooting isn't off the charts, averaging 32% for his career, his quick release keeps defenders honest. The Pelicans wanted to attack the three-point line, aiming for 40 attempts per game from three. Nowell can help them hit those marks. Even if his efficiency shifts from game to game and isn't the most consistent, he'll still give you guys some floor spacing. Obviously, at first glance, bringing Jaylen Nowell onto the team might just look like a depth addition, but given his offensive ability, decent playmaking, and experience of the league, he really could be a bridge player who could go from being just a stopgap to a guy who stays on the roster for the rest of the year. With the season just getting underway, 6 games through the year, every bit of help helps, and Nowell might just be the spark that they need to stay competitive in a Western Conference until older players get back from injury and are playing on the court, in my opinion. That's how I feel about it, and that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts. If you're a fan of this team, do you think there's anything that like worries you or is something that you think needs to be addressed? Because I do think this is a very, very solid team. Now, one of my concerns is how do we maximize the roster, or how do we maximize the team? And I think, can Jaylen just come in and play the minutes that we expect of him? I think Jaylen Nowell is a guy that last year, he obviously wasn't on good teams. And since leaving Minnesota, I really do feel like, damn, this is a guy who just repeatedly just got what felt like not the best hand in terms of, oh, you're going to be somebody who can maybe, contribute or something along those lines. And then he goes to the Wizards or the Grizzlies, and those teams weren't having the best of seasons. So to me, I thought that was a big thing to see him get to a team like now the Pelicans, because if you look, as I said, he played 9 games for the Grizzlies and 4 games for the Pistons last year. Did I say Wizards earlier? I'm sorry if I said the Wizards. Capital City Go-Go he played for. So I just want to say, I said Wizards earlier, but he played for the Capital City Go-Go, and that's what I meant by Wizards G League affiliate. So I just want to get that clarification in there because I now feel stupid. But hey, it is what it is. I'm though just still so curious to see what's gonna happen with all of this. I'm a big fan, and I think it's going to be fine, and it's all going to work out. But yeah, if you guys had any questions, let me know in the comment section. That's basically the video for today. A little short one. And yeah, I think he's going to be a guy who ends up on the roster for the rest of the season. And I know a lot of people are just going to be like, oh, this isn't anything you should care about. I think you should. But bye.